Alright. Ready? We have discussed so far the need for a vision. You need to know where you're going. The things that stop vision. We've talked about the provision for vision. And today I'd like to share with us some thoughts about really what is a vision. If we talk a lot about it, but it's the same as anything. If you're not careful, you so spiritualise it that it becomes, unless an angel comes down, ooh, it all gets a little bit spooky and other. Well, I'm going to try to help us today. I do generally try to help. How does vision come? Revelation chapter 4 verse 1 says this. An angel cries out to John and says, "Come up here and I will show you." That's the book of Revelation. Listen, the summary is this. Come up here and I will show you. It's something that God already knows, because he knows the end of a thing from its beginning. And he says, come here, I want to show you part of my plan and purpose. So vision isn't some ethereal golden plates coming down from heaven and call yourself Joe Smith. And it's not that kind of thing. It's rather that God chooses to share with us something that he already knows. So a vision then is God allowing us to see in part his plan and purpose. But because it's his plan and purpose, he needs to reveal it to us. See what I'm saying? Because if it's what he knows, the only way I'm going to know it is if he shows it to me. I'll go a couple of scriptures for you very quickly. Isaiah 40 verse 28. Have you not known, have you not heard, the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, he neither faints nor is weary. His understanding is unsearchable. You can't find the depths of it. He knows it all. There's a lovely thing, isn't there? Is it Job, isn't it? Where God says to Job, look, you think you know everything. How much sand is there on the seashore? Come on, tell me how many grains within the nearest trillion or so. Come on, let's sit down and talk about this. I've uttered things I shouldn't have said. Only God knows the end from the beginning. Why? Because he is the end and the beginning. He is the Alpha and the Omega. Who was and is to come. Job chapter 9 verse 10. He does great things past finding out. Yes, wonders without numbers. Do you like that one? I thought that was a real good one, Job 9:10. He does great things past finding out. Yes, wonders without numbers. Listen, so God's going to show me something that he already knows. What does Jesus say in John 4:4? God is spirit. And in 1 Corinthians we're told this, that he who is joined to the Lord becomes one spirit with the Lord. So if God is going to reveal something to me, where is he going to reveal it to me? Firstly, in my spirit. And this is where a lot of people get it wrong. They walk down the high street and see a Jaffa orange. Because they don't know where Jaffa is, they think they're cool to go to Spain. They do. You know, or they all know to do your geography. Where is it? Oh, I see a Japanese car, you know, I'll go be a missionary to sushi or something. You know, don't start there. It starts in here. Why? Because it's a spiritual God who's going to speak to me. And therefore, if he's going to speak to me, he will speak to me firstly in my spirit. You've heard the preacher's joke about the guy who's walking down the street and he walks past a travel agent and he sees a sign for South Africa and he thinks, oh. And he goes down a bit further and comes and finds some Cape apples. And he thinks, oh. And, a number of other things. He comes to his pastor and says, I'm going to be a missionary to Africa, South Africa. And he said, and I've heard the Lord say Africa. In fact, I know I've heard the Lord say Africa. Well, he goes off, sells up, and becomes a terrible failure. Comes back and says to the pastor, I don't understand what went wrong. I kept hearing Africa. I kept hearing Africa. And the word came to him, and the pastor said to him, yes, well, maybe you should have prayed for Africa. What you see, the danger of seeing is this. The natural is soulish. I feel the Lord would have me do this. Do you know what? Tomorrow you might feel something else. So that's soulish, isn't it? I feel quite warm today. It's quite a nice day. Tomorrow, no, in England, I might feel quite cold. If I'd been in Bolton like I've been for the last week, I'd be feeling quite wet. Feelings change. They're soulish. What about this one? Circumstances. Well, it seemed so right. If loving you is wrong, how comes it feels so right? Well, it seems so right. Really? It's purely worldly. Circumstances. Who is the ruler of this world, the Bible tells me? The devil. So the devil can so orchestrate circumstances that if you are moved by your circumstances, you may end up the circumstances creek without a paddle. Because it can look right, it can smell right, it can taste right, but that don't make it right. In fact, now you can get chicken soup with no chicken in it. Smells like chicken, might even, well, debatable whether it tastes like chicken. But it's got no chicken in it. On the packet, chicken soup. Read on the back, not one trace of chicken. But it looked like it. The label's got a cockerel on the front. What you feel and circumstances. Listen to this. 1 John 5:19 says this. We know that the world lays under the sway of the wicked one. The world. This whole system. Remember, the devil takes Jesus up on the high hill and shows him all the kingdoms of the world and all the power thereof. And he said, all these that they've all been given to me, and all these I will give to you if you'll fall down and worship me. Circumstances, listen to me, well, all of us. It is so easy. Suddenly a good job crops up in Glasgow. Why you'd want to... Alright, why you want to go to Glasgow, I don't know. But all of a sudden a good job offers up. And there you are being fruitful in the kingdom, serving God, living for Jesus, happy as a pig in muck, just doing your thing, and all of a sudden a good job is offered. It must be the Lord. I don't need to pray about it, Pastor. This must be the leading of the Lord. And it's usually when cash is a bit short. And it's usually when your back's to the wall. Who's the ruler of this world? He knows your bank account. You need to know who your banker is. Oh, suddenly from that, it must be the Lord, must it? Try praying. Well, no, I don't want to pray in case God says no. In the company of many there is wisdom. Try sharing it with somebody. No, because they might say no. I just know it's the Lord. And then about 3 months later, I bump into Harry. We've got Harry. Harry's mum. How's Harry doing in Glasgow? Oh, terrible. They've not found a church yet. Him and his wife are. Because the money's scarce and they ain't found a job. And the job he had just got laid off from because it was only a short-term one. They forgot to tell him the contract. Be very, very careful. How do we walk? We walk by faith and not by sight. Be very, very careful. For my military friends, you're not here by mistake, as you may think it. The computer didn't get it wrong. If you're seeking God and seeking to walk with God, then God will give you what he knows will be for your benefit. Yes, it's like purgatory. Don't worry, we'll burn a candle or two. Alright, let's move on. The third one is this. It's not based on the words of men. Listen to this one as well. No matter how spiritual these people sound. Oh, thus saith the Lord, I think you should marry that one. You know, and there he is in the corner. I ain't worked for the last 5 years. Don't wash that often, you know. The Lord's told me I'm going to marry you. And Prophet Sister Watson comes up and says, oh, I was praying and thus saith the Lord, you're going to marry him. And you think, Lord, why me? Let's be perfectly honest. You need your head tested if you let man tell you what's going to happen. Right? Firstly, hear it from God. And secondly, you know, normal wisdom is not such a bad thing. If I go to marry someone and I go up to them and I say, hey, how you doing? Ooh, yeah, I worked for the last 9 years. So what do you do yourself? I live at home with mum. Have a nice day. You know what? Come on. If you let someone tell you how to live your life, that person is taking the place of God. Now, I am just about to shoot a sacred cow because I've got a few minutes to do it. All these people who say, write to me and I'll guarantee to send you a prophecy. Listen to me, and don't forget your generous gift. Or even better, you can have the £10 prophecy, the £25 prophecy, or if you really, really want a super duper mega upgrade prophecy, £100. Now, adult audience, if you don't want to listen to this, put your fingers in your ears. That's prostitution. You can have what I've got if you're willing to pay for it. You want to know what spiritual prostitution is? Exactly that. You can have what I've got if you're willing to pay for it. And I will send you a postage paid envelope for your generous gift of at least £25. Tax deductible. Make sure it's a love gift. Because if it's a love gift, you see, I don't pay tax on it. If you give it to me as an individual, I pay tax on it. But if you give it to the organisation as a love gift, I won't pay tax on it. Thank you very much. The Lord bless you. What a load of rubbish. If you let people live your life for you, no matter how spiritual they seem to be, even your lovely pastor who you love so much, if I live your life for you, my job is not to live it for you. My job is to try to help you live it better. And you're supposed to help me. We're supposed to encourage one another. Alright? These people just want to tell you how to live your life. No matter how spiritual they seem to be, God speaks to your spirit first. What's the job of a prophet? To confirm what God has already said to you. I have a prophet friend who I love dearly, 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 dearly. Probably one of my closest friends. And my wife and I had planned to go to Czech. We had an itinerary worked up and everything else. And at that moment I was just kind of like living on another planet. And he came and sort of said, brother, I've been praying. About 2 days before we were going to go. And he said, I've been praying and I believe the Lord would say it's not right for you to go now. It's not the time. Blah, 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 blah. But it did not bear any witness at all with what God had said to us. So in the end of the day, we went, we had a great time, and we had to sort of say to him, brother, that just wasn't God.